Yes, sir. We are live. Amazing. What's going on, guys? Another amazing Tuesday night. All right, let's get into it. Let's go. I know you guys are feeling the background music. I am. But we need to get into it. What's going on, guys? In case if you are unfamiliar with me, I am the conservative, just as it is listed at the bottom screen. I am the CEO over facts over feelings because I care more for facts over your feelings. Amazing. Um also, guys, if you haven't noticed, for those of you who are familiar with me, have you noticed this amazing backdrop back here? Isn't this amazing? This is amazing. This is really nice. A nice replica of myself with the MAGA hat. I don't know if you people can if you guys can see me in the background. If you're able to clearly see the MAGA hat and if you're able to see the letters on my shirt, put a comment in the comments section. Let me know. Let me know. But in the event that you can't, let me just explain to you what you're seeing here. 'Cause this was an amazing picture. It was a portrait that I was able to take about a couple weeks ago, um, sporting the MAGA hat, the the very MAGA hat that I am donning on right now. And in case if you were unfamiliar with the shirt that I was wearing in the portrait, it says Uncle Tom. Yes, yes, you've seen it, ladies and gentlemen, and you are hearing it from the horse's mouth. All right. The shirt that I was donning, that I was donning on was is an Uncle Tom shirt. It reads Uncle Tom. Isn't that amazing? Because I wanted to embrace the very name that the blacks had given me uh, for my conservative views. Ever since the blacks have uh, discovered that I am a conservative, I have been given names like Uncle Tom and and among others, Uncle Tom, House Nigger, Sambo. But the main thing that they made the main name, the first name that the blacks tend to refer to me as is an Uncle Tom. So I figured I would put on a shirt that resembles that because if there's one person that's proud of being an Uncle Tom, it's this guy. Isn't this amazing? It is so amazing to just take pride in the very thing that people tend to refer to you as. Also, take a look at that smile. Can't you just see that smile right there? I mean, that's $1 million smile. It is amazing, but not to get too carried away. I want to go through the etiquettes of the live stream. It isn't much, but it's typically what I normally request for people that are coming into the live stream. Give me 1 second because I believe there's some things that I need to do that I didn't do ahead of time. So just give me a couple minutes. I apologize for the delay. It won't be long. It will not be long. Uh, do, 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 Right. So, kind of hard doing all this. wish I would have taken care of this prior to going live, but it's all right. We will ride it as we build it. All right. All right. So for those of you that are tuning in, I just posted the invite for in the event that you want to be a part of the show. But let me just okay. Uh, delete that. Okay. All right, guys. So a few things that I need you to do. First thing that I need you to do, if you are tuning in, I need you to hit the like button, okay? Because it helps with the algorithm and it allows YouTube to push through with the live stream, whether they like it or not. Because keep in mind, as much as YouTube would like to cancel people like me that engage in truth content, you can override what it is that they are that what it is that YouTube is trying to do to me if you will click on the like button and actually put in some engagement. That would override any type of banishment that YouTube will attempt to put on the live stream. Also, leave a comment during and after the show. All right. That also helps with the algorithm as long as we're showing that you can put or as long as you're showing interest and building engagement, then the more YouTube will promote the live stream. All right. Do the same thing. Do the same thing. And also, if you want to be a part of the show, here is the link at the bottom of the screen. I also left the link in the comment section. But you know what? I like to over engineer things. I like to overdo things the same way that BMW likes to over engineer their vehicles. And I'm going to give you people the best of both worlds. You can either join the show by clicking on the link at the bottom of the screen, or you can check for the link in the comment section as well and click on that to join the show. All right. So now that we got that out of the way, let's get into this. All right. In case you haven't been paying attention to the title of the show, America is a weak country. And why do I claim that America is a weak country? Well, in the beginning, when America was founded by our forefathers, America was founded upon the beliefs of men that wanted to make this country great. And how do you say this country was great, conservative? Well, this country was great because it stood on religion. It stood on Christianity. It stood on principle, where the men would take on the role of a man, and the woman would take on the role of the woman. All right. Just to put it in basic terms, this country was built on Christianity. It also was built on the sanctity of marriage because it was the marriage that would bring about families and then create the communities within society. All right. It was a role where the man knew to play the role of the husband and the woman would play the role of the wife. And both understood that engaging in marriage would then promote in wanting to look at marriage as a duty as opposed of looking at marriage as a symbol. And back when America was great, back when it was founded on principles and and the natural being of males and females, people live for the most part, people live a clean life. It was the belief that that the man would go through all of his life through schooling. When he turned 18, he would then have the choice of entering the military or working. The expectation would be that the man would get married at the age at that specific age and start building his family from there. In the event that the man decided to enroll in the military, if he was married, then the wife will be the one to take care of the household and the children under the man's authority and direction. No, I mean, mainly under the man's authority. And life was amazing. It was amazing back then. Um, Inflation was not an issue because the government was not irresponsible. Therefore, the man made enough to actually keep the woman home to take care of her children and his. And he would be able to provide when he was able to come back. Or the man would go straight into the labor industry and will be able to bring back enough to support the wife and the children. Um, they would attend church faithfully. They would heed to their vows faithfully, where marriage was considered um, what's the word that I'm looking for? Um, that marriage was a sacred covenant that was respected by the man and the woman in front of God, in which the man would then recite his vows and he will stand by his vows by taking his lawfully wedded wife for better for for rich or poor, better or for worse, or for sickness and in health until death did him part. As so the wife would also recite those very vows and stand by those very vows because both the husband and the wife understood that this marriage was a duty to the marriage, a duty for the family, and by them and by the husband and the wife being able to commit to a duty for the marriage and a duty to create a family, that's what then created such a well knitted community among all races. And America was great. It was so great. But what are we seeing today? We are now seeing the decay of America because the very thing that was founded upon in America, which was Christianity back way back when America was founded by Christianity, now is the very thing that America is trying to eradicate. They want to get rid of um, a religion. They want to get rid of Christianity because Christianity breeds nuclear families. This whole idea of people marrying for love is a secular standpoint because love has nothing to do with duty. You can grow to love your partner, but to marry somebody just because you love them or just because they're attractive is the main reason why you have more than a 50% divorce rate now in this country. It's gotten to the point now where every single race within this country has a number of people who do not believe in marriage, particularly the blacks. And you can see it due to the 77% of black babies that are born out of wedlock. Out of wedlock. And these black mothers were never married, nor did they intend on ever getting married. It's amazing. But now this country is really on a in a downward spiral because the very thing that the country was founded upon, which was Christianity, morality, and character, has now is now all but evaporated. It is no longer a thing. You have atheists, people who do not believe in marriage that are now engaging in marriage and it's ending in divorce and then they're wondering why. Well, because they had no business being married in the first place. Nobody believes in marriage, therefore nobody believes in the sanctity of marriage. No one believes in morality and character anymore, so therefore everyone is behaving like a bunch of heathens and sluts. Well, mainly the women are behaving like sluts and the men are behaving like slut makers. And this is the reason why you see the debauchery that you're seeing in America today. You have politicians that lied to the American people and the American people bought it that want to take away the very rights that American people had, which is freedom of speech and freedom to bear arms. They want to suppress that because they want to continue to control the very people that they are tricking into keeping them in power. And you people that are voting for these politicians, Republican and Democrat, you people will lose your rights if you give these people the opportunity to suppress your rights. It is the truth. It is the truth. And there's nothing else that brings that home even more than what they told you people about the China virus. They wanted to make you believe that the China virus started because it was a virus that was initially placed in the bats, or literally the bats were the carriers, and they were somehow taken away. They're somehow kidnapped, butchered, and sold in the dark market for meat. The Chinese that were down there consumed it. They end up getting infected, and then they wind up infecting a whole nation of other Chinese. And somehow that is how the China virus started. When the truth of the matter is that the China virus was started in the lab with our tax dollars. Yes, our tax dollars was funding to create this super virus, and it happened to leak out. And all of a sudden, it happened to leak out in the lab. And that's how it affected the people in China. And that's how China was able to spread the virus by visiting other countries. And that's how it ended up becoming a pandemic. But God forbid if you were to speak out against the truth, you would get banned. God forbid if you were to speak out about any other cure for the China virus outside of the China virus vaccine. If you were to speak out to say, well, take other methods, ivermectin, chloroquine or chloroclinic. I don't know however you present that, but any other alternative treatment besides the government telling you to take the China virus vaccine was considered disinformation. And anyone that recommended alternative treatment, the government wanted these social media platforms such as Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and others to immediately ban these people. Yes, they want to take away your rights to properly inform people about the truth. And I'm telling you right now, if you people continue to vote for these people are going to take away your rights, the very rights that we have, our right to be able to speak and be heard. Look at all the propaganda that they came up with the China virus. Uh, hundreds of thousands of people were dying. The great white dope Joe Biden wanted to tell you as he was debating the great white hope Donald Trump that there were that he wanted to ask you the question, well, who do you know that died from the China virus? How many people do you know died? As if he was speaking about it as if it was a true pandemic in America. He was speaking about the China virus as if it was the second coming to the bubonic plague. And many of you people were able to fall for the very dream that the great white dope Joe Biden was giving you. Now you find out 4 years later it was a lie. This country used to stand on freedom of speech. You could say whatever you wanted to say as long as you weren't making threats. But you could say whatever you wanted to say, even if people disagreed with it. We used to have open forums of freedom of speech. You never had to worry about getting banned or or getting do I want to say shadow banned? Well, you didn't have to worry about getting blacklisted. That's what I wanted to say. You didn't have to worry about getting banned or getting blacklisted. You didn't have to worry about not being invited to speak upon other people who disagree with you. Now, all they have to do is just blacklist you and you won't show up. Isn't that amazing? If you people continue to put these people in office that will continue to do it, then they will do it and we will lose our country. Look at all the people that are trying to come up with different ways to suppress your rights to bear arms. Because we all know that the Constitution is the law of the land. You cannot eliminate a constitution, but you can amend it. The way that they can suppress your rights is if they continue to amend the very rights within that constitution. I'm telling you right now, the last thing that you want is for the government to have all the power. Because we've seen how the government can behave when they have all the power. Imagine the government controlling all of the rights to have all the rights to travel, your right to earn income. Now, anything that you need, whether it's transportation, food, paperwork, a clearance, everything that you need from the government. Now the government can weaponize it, and make you do things that you have no business doing. That's how we lose our freedoms. Okay, and Andre says hydrochloroquine, hydrochloroquine. Thank you very much, Andre. Thank you for the correction. Appreciate it. Struggling with that one, but people, look at all the things that we have adapted, and it's because America has now adapted a secular version of the country as opposed of adapting a Christian version. And we all knew that it was going downhill when when the US came up with the rule of separation between church and state. They knew exactly what they were doing when they did that. They claimed that the church has no business having any influences on the state's decision to govern as they want to govern. They knew exactly what they were doing when they did that. The moment that they said that the church will no longer influence the state um, in being governed, they immediately adapted to a secular version of what the country should be. Because if you do not adapt religion, Christianity, which this country was founded by Christians, by white Christians. If you do not adapt that, then what else are you adapting? Now you're adapting the opposite. All right? The secular version. No religion. And no religion usually comes with no discipline, non-morality, non-character, liberation. People do as they please. Well, how's that turning out for our country? Today, in the very public schools that we the people pay for, that our tax dollars pay for, they are indoctrinating your children into believing that homosexuality should be a normality. That's what they are doing. Not only that, but they expect the teachers to be, to be keen to homosexuality, that it should be accepted, that every child should understand about homosexuals and about embracing the LG, whatever they want to call themselves, agenda. And not one single person questions that. They know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. Why should any child even learn about homosexuality? Homosexuality is a lifestyle. It's not religious. It's not anything of of importance. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle that you choose into engaging in perverted and deviant sex. So if the state is really looking out for your best interest, then why would they want your child to embrace a lifestyle that involves perverted and deviant sex with the same sex? Because that's what homosexuality is all about. They can call it LGBT all they want. It is a bunch of homosexuals that want to engage in perverted and deviant sex that will not lead to procreation. None. It doesn't matter. Well, let me just say this. Why should children learn that? Why should any child want to learn about homosexuality? Because if they're looking to teach your child into embracing LGBT, well, a child isn't going to want to embrace that without knowing about it first. Okay? And this is where they get you because they will never tell the children what LGBT really stands for. Because if they did, then they would be looking to teaching children about sex. Do you want your grade school child to be learning about sex at the age of 6 to 12? Really? Or from the age of maybe 6 to 11? They know what they're doing. And this is the government wanting to do this. It's amazing. But we all know why they want to promote homosexuality. Homosexuality, which, or the homosexuals, which only make up, I mean, just think about this. Just think about this. Because I was getting ready to speak about the lifestyle, but look at the people behind the lifestyle. These people make up less than 5% of the US population. Yet somehow, some way, they have much more of an influence than the Christians who stand by the very religion that their founding fathers founded this very country on, and it's a mess. It is a mess. They hold more power over the Christians. They are willing to do anything that that the government is willing to grant them. I mean, they're being granted all the rights. When the fallen Messiah Barack Obama was in office, he gave them more rights than I would say even than the average American citizen because because he considered those people as the vulnerable population. What is so vulnerable about them? These people, these homosexuals already were granted rights through the Civil Rights Act. You know, the very Civil Rights Act that they were pushing for the blacks. Yeah, it also protected homosexuals into being discriminated against. And then Obama wanted to give them even more rights, give them the right for marriage. It was under the Equality Act. This man is evil. He's evil for wanting to push that. But again, America has an agenda of wanting to be meek and meager compared to other countries. We're putting homosexuals and confused people in our military, like women pretending to be men. How are they going to help our military? No, they're going to make the military weaker. But we want to play identity politics as opposed of doing things to make our military stronger to fight off the you know counterattacks against our enemies. No, we need to identify, we need to acknowledge a woman pretending to be a man. We need to acknowledge her identifying as that and making that to be imperative over putting strong men in our military to fight off our enemies. That's where America is headed to. They care more about identity politics than the truth. It's amazing. In June, they're going to be celebrating Pride Month. And you notice how these people can't even be honest. These people call um, men that want to engage in sex with other men and women wanting to engage in sex with other women Pride Month. Tell me what is so prideful about promoting and celebrating perverted and deviant sex that does not engage in procreation. Homosexuals are not populating the world. It doesn't matter how many times a man sticks his penis in another man's rectum or or how many times a woman chooses to put a fake penis in a woman's vagina. No childbearing will render from either actions. None. Zero. Zilch. No matter how hard they try. All right? No child will ever come out of a man's rectum. No matter how many times another man penetrates his penis in that man's rectum. No child will ever be rendered from a woman's vagina, no matter how many times a woman straps up a fake penis and starts to penetrate the other woman's vagina. It won't happen. It will never happen. But yet, we as a country want to celebrate perverted and deviant sex that will result in zero procreation and zero population. This is why we are a weak country. We celebrate what's wrong and ignore what's right. Look at what's happening right now with people with these liberated states that are going around and allowing people to rob, loot, steal, or the same thing. Rob people are willing to just rob and loot at the same time, or either or. And the state allows it. Look at the state of California. You are allowed to steal less than what is it $900 worth of items before it's considered a felony. So if you steal 901, then it's considered a felony. They're basically giving criminals the keys to steal. It's amazing. We do not respect the law of the land. Look at all the illegal aliens that are just pouring into our country illegally. Yet it's a wide open border because the politicians are making it that way to where they're telling the border patrol to just look the other way and make them come in. Why? Because they expect these very illegal aliens that are coming to this country, despite the fact that many of them are murderers, rapists, and thieves, and people carrying disease, that these people will eventually overpopulate and then be able to take over the initial race that has kept this country stable, and that is the race of white people. They want them to replace white people, not just white people, but patriotic, loving white people, people who love this country. The illegal aliens that these politicians, mainly the Biden administration, that are just welcoming in this country, that are coming in here in groves, are looking to take over the white race. The very people that so far are the main population of this country. The very people that will keep this country afloat. Because you allow this country to be flooded by the illegals and the blacks and these illegal Hispanics. Well, mainly they would be considered illegal aliens. But you allow the illegal aliens and the blacks to take over this country will go to hell in less than a week. Give it less than a week. Every single state will look like a hellhole. Every single state will look like California. It will look like hell on earth, especially if you get the blacks and the illegals to be a part of this country, to be the main race in this country. Every single state will look like hell on earth. Mark my word, every single state will look like a shithole. I can imagine every single state looking like Haiti. And we all know that Haiti is the biggest shithole, or is one of the biggest shitholes in this country. Yes, I can imagine could you imagine Utah, the state of Utah, looking like a shithole filled with a bunch of illegals, and a bunch of black monkeys? Could you imagine? Our country will be a weak vessel if we, the people, do not stand up. I am not saying that we need to engage in a civil war with the ones that choose not to cooperate with the law of the land. I am not saying that. What I am saying is that I believe that there are more of us, we the people who care about this country, than there are of them. And if they want to follow the law of the land, fine. If not, then our tax dollars should go towards prisons so that we can cage these monkeys. It doesn't matter if they're black monkeys or white monkeys or Hispanic monkeys, anyone that refuses to follow the law of the land, that does not love their country enough, to preserve the very values that made this country great, throw them in the cage like the monkeys that they are and let them stay there. That's what I say. And that's what we should do. I mean, look at our country today. It is weak. It is pathetic. It is pitiful. We are selling our country to other countries, and now those countries are holding us at will. I mean, look at what we did a year ago. We traded um, a Russian's arm dealer that was illegally selling arms in this very country for a pot smoking lesbian who looks like Dennis Rodman's twin brother. That's who we traded in order to get her out of prison, Russian prison, because she committed a crime in Russia. I truly thought that she was going to do her time in Russia. But obviously, she's a woman. She is a black woman, and she is a female lesbian. So, because she fit the DEI puzzle. That is the reason why they got her out of prison, because she fit everything that they were looking for. Diversity, equity, and inclusion for those people. For a black female lesbian, not to mention an ugly black female looking lesbian. That is exactly who we traded an illegal arms dealer for. Um, a black female lesbian who is a drug addict. She cannot stay off the weed. I'm sure Stephen A. Smith will love that. Amazing. Isn't this amazing? But it's the truth. We are so weak. We are so pathetic. We ignore our own laws and then we wonder why we are a weak country. A weak country that's filled with people that are celebrated for coming out as a homosexual. That now makes headline news. Anyone that says that any famous person that says that they are a homosexual, it makes headline news. Why are we the people even infatuated with another person's life that happens to be a public figure, or that happens to catch the public's eye? It's almost as if we try to put them over God. Well, in the secular world, these people are God. Remember, these people make way more money than we do. These people live in exclusive neighborhoods. These people have a privileged life where they don't have to do anything if they choose not to. These people don't even have to lift a finger. They have a multitude of people that do things for them. Take out the trash, drive the car, you name it, they'll have it. They'll have someone do it for them. So, according to them, we are peasants to them. Isn't that amazing? What a mess. What a mess. And the whole homosexuality thing, it's even embedded at the workplace. You have to embrace homosexuals. You can't say anything about homosexuals. If you speak out against them, you're fired. And not only that, they may even try to jail you for a hate crime. I mean, imagine calling a homosexual a faggot, and the reason for doing so is because the homosexual was harassing you because he knows he can. And you say, hey, get away from me, faggot. And that homosexual can go to HR and not only get you fired, but HR will recommend them to go to the police because they committed a hate crime. What was the hate crime? You calling him a faggot. Ooh. Lock him up. Weak country. Um, America was never founded on homosexuality. If that were the case, then homosexuality would have been a thing from the beginning. We would have had the rainbow flag represented a long time ago. It never was a thing. As a matter of fact, homosexuality used to be diagnosed as a mental illness. Uh, give me 1 second. All right. Uh, we'll be right back. Special message from the conservative. Love your country the way that I love my country, because I am a U.S. citizen and I love the benefits of being a U.S. citizen. And the rest of you should love the benefits of being a U.S. citizen, considering the fact that we have the First Amendment and the Second Amendment. Okay? Love your country and fight for your love for this very country so that your rights can still be reserved. Because if not, then your freedom of speech and your freedom to bear arms will be revoked by the politicians that are controlled by special interests and the very donors that are willing to donate millions and millions of dollars in their campaign to remain reelected, to fool you people into voting for them to keep them in power. Remember, they do not have any more power than we the people do, the very constituents that they should be working for in order to keep our rights restored. Remember, we have the power. We can elect these people. So love your country enough to put the very people that should be fighting for your rights to remain intact. Amazing. Amazing. Hey guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. For the ones that are still tuning in and still with me, I appreciate it very much. Okay, so like I said, um, we as a country, we need to get together. We need to assemble into fighting for our rights and resisting the very people that are working against our rights. If you hear anyone, any politician wanting to campaign against our right to speech, religion, and and freedom of the press, vote them out. Anyone that is trying to infringe on our right to bear arms, vote them out. Get them out of here. Anyone that's looking to infringe on our right to remain silent or our right to counsel, vote them out. Do not fall for the false ad propaganda that they are willing to promote. It's all fake news. Any politician that is voting against the ban, against the ban of abortion, which is legal murder, vote them out. Vote them out. Why would you want to support people that give the woman the right to murder the unborn child in her womb? That's evil. Vote them out. Vote them out. You know who they are. Just look at their campaigns. You know who they are. Vote them out. It's that simple. Do not take them seriously. Vote them out. Any politician that's looking to campaign for more government programs, vote them out. You are not getting a good return on your investment unless you are one of the people that are taking advantage of these programs. Then this message clearly isn't for you. I'm speaking about the people who work for a living. The people who work and have their taxes being taken out to support these freeloading bums and these drug addicts, these low lives, these peons, these these deplorables. Vote them out. Vote them out. All right? Maybe you don't understand what I'm saying until you happen to visit Skid Row or you happen to visit Kensington. Skid Row in Los Angeles and Kensington in Philadelphia for you to understand where your tax dollars and where your lax policies are going. Vote these people out. These people do not have your best interest at hand. If given the opportunity, they will turn your your neighborhood into hell on earth, and they will do it at the strength of keeping them in power. You see, they'll tell you that they're doing it. Excuse me for a second. That they'll tell you that they're doing it for your best interest, and the whole time they are lying to you because these very people in which these in which these neighborhoods are being affected by their policies, they would never live in these neighborhoods. You couldn't pay them to live in these neighborhoods in which their very policies are having a counterproductive reaction to in these neighborhoods. You see, it's easy to destroy your neighborhood as long as they don't have to reside in it. And that's what they're doing. And they're doing it under the pretense that you will keep them in power. And if you keep voting for them, you will prove them right. Vote them out. Vote out any politician that wants a stimulus. They want to take your tax dollars into giving you a portion of it for absolutely nothing, even though you're going to have to end up paying it back. Oh, they don't tell you that. Yeah, you have to end up paying it back through inflation. Vote them out. Vote them out. Anyone that stands for illegal aliens being in this country and getting benefits at the expense of your tax dollars, vote these people out. Get them out of here. Vote them out. I don't want to hear this nonsense about these people wanting to seek asylum. It's a minority of the of these illegal aliens that are pouring into our country. The vast majority of these people are coming in here for free stuff at the expense of your tax dollars. Vote them out. Vote them all out. Vote them out. Republican or Democrat, vote them out. I would I think I've learned about politics enough to know that these career politicians, Republican and Democrat, they are career politicians that have had their hand into the cookie jar of the special interests and the donors that are looking for kickbacks for these very politicians that they are funneling millions of dollars into their campaigns. All right? These politicians are no different from the mafia. They get paid to play. They get paid for in order for these other entities to engage in special favors for them. It's all lies. Each and every one of them has had their hand in a cookie jar and have taken money from special donors and interests under the premise that they would give those donors and interests kickbacks. Vote them out. Of all of the politicians in the Republican nomination, I mean, they were all vying for the Republican nomination. All the people that were competing for that nomination, only Donald Trump the only one that hadn't received a dime from the special interests or the donors. If I'm wrong, then you can then you can comment on that. But the great white hope, Donald Trump, was the only one that didn't receive a dime from the donors and special interests. Therefore, he cannot be bought. You can't tell him how to campaign. You can't tell him uh, what to say or how to say it. He's not going to allow money to govern his decisions. He is going to allow what he knows to be right. He's going to allow his morality and his character to govern his decisions, doing what's right for the American people, having American first policies so that all Americans can win. And the best way that you can do that is to keep our rights intact. That's the only way that that can happen. Otherwise, we have no America. America is a weak country right now because we have no morals and no values. Everyone does whatever they want to do. And this is the reason why America is the laughing stock of the world. Nobody takes us seriously. We're creating enemies everywhere. We're sticking our noses in other countries' business, and the American people are not getting a return on their investment for doing so, even though our tax dollars are being used to fund the war. We're sticking our noses in Russia and Ukraine's business when we should not. I mean, our very security will be threatened. We're sticking our noses in Israel and Palestine's business. It's nothing to do with us at all. I mean, we are a weak country. We're very weak. And we're weak because for the most part, we are allowing the government to lie to us and make us believe that our values come from them when it comes from God. We're believing everything that they're saying. Well, the people like us, we know better. But there are a vast majority of Americans that truly, truly believe the fake news mafia. They believe everything that the fake news has to say, which which actually supports the government. All this crap that we need to funnel money to Ukraine, even though Ukraine is losing the war. Ooh, it was already leaked that Ukraine was losing the war. It was already leaked by a soldier who already had intelligence on the war, intelligence from the Pentagon. Ooh, can't get any better than that. And yet, we should funnel more money. You already know what this is. All right. The very people in the administration that are pushing for this are getting kickbacks from Ukraine for doing so. I'll be honest with you. Why are we even joining NATO? Why? I hope the great white hope comes in. I hope the very first thing that he says is that we will no longer we are no longer a NATO member. We need to terminate our membership with NATO because NATO is going to engage us into unnecessary wars. That's what they're looking for. They want wars. Get away from NATO. We don't need to be a part of NATO. NATO are a bunch of instigators. NATO is the reason why we're even sending money to Ukraine in the first place. Absolutely not. And then we're funneling money to help Israel fight Palestine. Why? That is their fight. And we shouldn't be sticking our noses in their business. We shouldn't. You should not. Enough is enough. People need to handle their own business and stop worrying about what we are going to do. Stop worrying about us trying to pull their butt out of the fire. Your fight is your fight. Fight your own fight and stop trying to extract our tax dollars to fight your fight. No, we need to take care of home first. But we are a weak country. We're very weak. Uh, we embrace homosexuality, even though the people that are behind this make up less than 5% of the U.S. population. Yet America wants to give them all the power. We are a weak country because we allow illegal aliens that are not even a part of this country, many of whom have came in and have murdered legal, law-abiding citizens, even though these people had no business being in our country. We are weak for allowing that. We are weak for giving them things that are paid by our tax dollars. Our ability to work and earn every single dollar, only to have a majority of it taken away from the government to feed these freeloading illegal aliens. Throw these monkeys out of here. These monkeys need to go back to their country. We are weak because we do not accept morality and character. And we refuse to want to hold the law of the land, our constitution. We refuse to want to keep it intact. That's why we are weak. And that's the reason why we need to stand up against the very people that want to keep our country weak and fight against them. Get them out of here. These politicians, vote them out. Don't fall for the false campaign lies. Vote them all out. Vote them out. Each and every one of them. Amazing, guys. But let me know what you guys think about the show. Leave a comment. Um, share this video. Like the video. Like the video. Like the live stream. Share the live stream. Comment on the live stream. And I will see you next time. It is The Conservative. I'm signing out. Amazing.